Hi y'all, today is Sunday, June 30th. It's the last day of June. I hope you guys all had a very pleasant June experience. And happy birthday to those of you who are having a birthday today. I'm out here on the patio enjoying this view. I hope you can see it back there. I don't know if you can, but anyway, let me bring the camera down low. Had to get that laugh in there because when I go back and edit my videos, I just see myself laughing a lot. It's just who I am. So I hope y'all can deal with it and bear with me. And for those of you who can, I appreciate it. And those of you who can't, no hard feelings. How about that? Anywho, I was talking to a good friend of mine, and he listened to my video yesterday. And he asked me a question. He says, Danny, how many times have you been in love? And I'm like, that's a good question. I have been in love 4 times. In my youth, I thought it was impossible to be in love more than once because I really did believe in soulmates. And I figured, you know, if you were lucky to come across your soulmate, you don't have to worry about anything else because that's exactly what it was. That's your soulmate. You're going to be together forever. You're going to fight together. If you struggle together. And if you make it, then you make it together. But that's the key word. You're together. So I was quite devastated and my sacred cow was kicked over when I thought I had happened upon my soulmate and we were only together for 3 years. But I love this man. I loved him more than God. I didn't even really fully understand God when I was with this man, but he was the be-all to end-all for me and quite satisfying in every way, financially, sexually, mentally, everything. And he was my Superman. Even though the way we got together was quite another story, but he was still Superman. Superman wasn't faithful, so we broke up. Which was hard because when you know that somebody is laying down the good, that's when a woman blames the other woman because you know what the other woman is getting. So you're like, okay, I can't allow him to be responsible for his actions because I want to continue to partake of those actions. So when you want to continue to partake, you gotta lay blame someplace else. And I unfortunately did that for a little while. My mistake. But not allowing him to be responsible for his behavior and his actions taught me how to become the great, fantastic enabler that I became. And finally reality hit, and it hit hard because one night I asked him, I said, okay, so we have a child together. What happens if you go out there and you lay with somebody and you come back and you have AIDS? And without a beat, I mean, he missed no beat. He said to me, I'll give it to you. And that broke my heart because he would give it to me and I would have allowed it. Nobody can do to me anything that I don't allow. He couldn't break my heart if I didn't allow him to break my heart. He couldn't walk all over me if I didn't allow him to walk all over me. I can't be used if I don't allow it. So if you want to use me, I have to give my permission. And that's how it is. And I had given him my permission to treat me like a doormat. And when he said that to me, it was like being punched in the face. And that's when I knew. You have no other choice but to let this go for the sake of your child. Because she deserves to have at least one good parent. And that's how I felt. So I divorced him, and it wasn't an easy thing to do, but I was strengthened from doing so. I was the strongest in my weakness. I had no idea how strong this girl could be until I went through that situation. And then I fell in love again. I don't believe that the second love that I fell in love with was my soulmate, but he was a great companion. Again, another great lover. I am extremely sexual, so that's important to me. And he also betrayed my trust and wanted me to become so dependent on him that I couldn't be a free thinker and think for myself. And that's hard when you're raised with in a domineering household, with my mother being that dominant person in the home. It was my mother's way or the highway, he bet your butt. And so to be in that relationship, I do know how to be submissive. I was submissive to my first husband. I was that way because I loved him that much. So then to be in another relationship where he liked the fact that I was submissive, but he doted on me so much and wanted me to be so dependent upon him that I no longer thought for myself. It was like putting handcuffs on me. And that relationship was very difficult. So I had to look at that and I'm like, this isn't a good relationship. This is toxic. This is sickness. So I got out of that relationship. And then I fell in love with my second, what I believed was my soulmate. And this relationship lasted many, many years. And it was abusive in its own way, and it was very destructive. And I forgave a lot. And I misunderstood a lot because I was just growing in my relationship with Christ and, going to Bible school and becoming an ordained minister and all of that. It was very confusing, and it was, you support your husband. That's what they teach you to do in church. You support your husband. You put his needs above yours. If something's not going right, you fast, you pray, you let the change begin in you. And all of that can be good, but it can also be a setup and set you up to allow yourself to be in a position that you don't want to be in. And my second husband was an intelligent man, extremely intelligent. And he knew how to manipulate and play mind games. He was very good at it. And so I found myself exactly in the type of relationship that I was trying to avoid with that second love. And I was in it so deeply because now I have 2 children. And I'm trying to make decisions that are, sorry, I dropped my glasses, that are in the best interest of my children, and denying myself and trying to keep this man happy, who would always tell me that it's not his responsibility to make sure I was happy, but I felt obligated to make sure he was happy. Now, how was that going to work? It just wasn't working. So again, I had to take the initiative and separate myself from that relationship. During that relationship is when I came across this article, and I can't cite it because I can't remember because it was so many years ago that I read it, and it was talking about soulmates and defining what a soulmate was. And it was saying that a soulmate doesn't necessarily have to be a person of the opposite sex. It doesn't necessarily have to be your mate. A soulmate can be anyone who comes into your life for a time to teach you something. And once you've learned that thing, that relationship can disperse. And that's what it is. A soulmate, you're connected for a period of time until you glean the information and knowledge that you need. And when I read that article, it brought to me a lot of peace, because then I wasn't blaming myself for my past failed relationships. I wasn't then looking at it like I ruined this relationship with my soulmate because there's something more I could have done that I didn't have the wherewithal to do. And so, and when you're blaming yourself, that's what really, it can lower your self-esteem. If you have self-esteem, but you put so much blame and fault on yourself, it will diminish your degree of self-esteem. And that will put you in a position of vulnerability, because then you'll start to accept things in your life that if you were thinking 100% with all your pistons firing, you wouldn't do that. So coming out of this, it was a learning experience. It was a healing experience. And it was good for me. And I started to look at my past and think, not that I was a victim, but it was just that, a learning experience. And somebody had said to me, you know, what should have happened did. And I picked that up, grabbed hold of that, and ran with it. And I still stand on that today. I still believe that what should have happened did. And a lot of things that happen in your life, you don't know why. And when you're in church, you know, they say pray and fast, and then, you know, you can be delivered from this and you can be delivered from that. But the concept and the principle behind praying and fasting is just exactly this. And I've said it before, and I'll always say it because it's true. Some things are going to happen whether you pray or not. And some things are not going to happen unless you pray and get those forces working on your behalf. But because you never know, just pray always. And while I was married to my first husband, I had this dream. And it was a prophetic dream. I didn't understand it. And I often meditate on it and think about it and wonder exactly what this is. And my interpretation has not come to fruition the way I thought. In this dream, I was walking through a lush field. It was green. It was beautiful. And I turn around and I'm being pursued by this big, huge bear. And the bear begins to run towards me. So the bear is charging down upon me, and I'm running. And the next thing I know, the bear catches up with me and goes through my body. And I fall forward and I fall down. And then the bear vanishes. It's nowhere around. I pick myself up and I start walking. And then I hear trotting behind me. I turn around and a wild boar is pursuing me. And I begin to run. And the boar catches up to me. And as it careens into my body, again, it goes through my body and it knocks me to the ground. So I get back up. And when I get back up this time, I'm already running. You know, I get up and I'm running because I can hear that I'm being pursued. I glance behind me and I'm being pursued by a lion. And in the midst of my running, I just stopped. I turned around and I faced this lion. And I held my hand in front of me like, no more. I've had enough. And the lion did not go through my body and I did not fall down. The lion disappeared. Vaporized. And then I woke up from this dream. I interpret that dream to mean that in my life, I was going to have 3 loves, and that the first 2 would darn near destroy me because they would penetrate me and go through me, but the last one would be my one true soulmate. But I didn't even think that interpretation didn't make sense because the lion disappeared. So I still don't know. I'm clueless because the third love of my life was my second husband. And that relationship did not work out. I did, you know, face a lot of things. So I thought that, you know, maybe it was what I thought. I conquered it and I faced a lot of things. But I accidentally fell in love for the 4th time. And that was the love I was talking about on this video. And that was just an act of foolishness. This young man was just supposed to be fun. That was it. Nothing more. Because he didn't have the things that I wanted in a man. Being divorced and having my children at an age where they're soon to graduate. My youngest was soon to graduate. I don't want to raise any children. I don't want small children. He had a small child. And I'm like, don't want that. He wasn't established. I wanted a man established. Be on your own. Have your own place. Have your own car. Have a good job. Now, he did have a good job. But he wasn't living on his own. He was living with his stepmother. That's, You know, you can't be it because you don't have the things that I need. And there's something else that I need. I'm going to need you to be interested in the things that interest me. Because if I can make myself be interested in the things that interest my mate, and I'm giving that way, so I know that I will do that. I'm not sure that a man will do that for me. So you have to automatically do that. If you're not interested in the things that I'm interested in, that shows me that we're going to have a problem, because then it's going to the relationship will be all about you. Been there, done that, not serving that time anymore. I gotten out of jail and I'm not going back in. Bondage is no longer in my psyche. So the relationship, a healthy relationship for me, is going to have to be a give, not just one or the other, just giving all the time. That's unacceptable. So this accidental love came when I thought I was stronger than he was. He was telling me his little horror story of a relationship, and I made him a charity case. I'm like, I'm stronger than he. I can take it. He needs somebody to love him, somebody to be good to him, to show him, what a good, positive relationship is. And I did notice that I was the only one given in this relationship, but I made a vow. I made a vow to tell him that I loved him every day. Big mistake, huge. And I did this act of foolishness because I heard it in a church sermon one time. To tell somebody you love them every day. If somebody isn't doing right, just tell them you love them every day and watch the change. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to try that. It's going to be great. It wasn't great. I told this man I loved him every day. Even when I started saying it, I knew it wasn't true. But I said it every day. And what happened is I actually fell in love with him. And he was a wrong person to give that kind of strength and energy to. The relationship did fall apart because he told me a lot of lies and he was deceitful. And he used to tell me that he was an ass. I guess he was. But that relationship did like it should have. It fell apart. So that's why I have been in love and I have 4 people on the books. Right now I'm involved in a situation and I don't know that I'm working on falling in love again or not. He says he is. I'm just like, right now, I'm just here. I have things I want to do. I want to finish my 2nd book and get this started. And I have visions, I have goals, and I would like to see those things come to fruition. And if I get caught up in another relationship, I could see myself denying the things that I want for my life. And I'm not getting any younger. So I don't know. He's the sweetest guy ever, but we're just going to go slow and let it do what it does. That's all I can say about that. But until then, until things change, I feel safe. I don't feel in danger of being distracted by engaging in a relationship. So those are my thoughts. That's my 2 cents on soulmates. Yes, I believe in them. And yes, I believe that I've come to the knowledge and the understanding that a soulmate can be any other person that's been put into your life to give you something, and you don't know how long that season of giving will last. I've had some female soulmates that I didn't even realize were soulmates until their season of being in my life was over. And the thing about me is, once your season in my life is over, I don't miss you. I'm not a mean person, but I don't. If I were to pursue you, that would make me miserable. That would make me unhappy, because if you pursue something that's over, they can't love you back the way you want them to love you. They've given you everything they have to give you, and it's done and it's over. So if you chase after it, you can only bring grief and sorrow and trouble upon yourself. Then you can't say God won't put more on me than I can bear, because God's not putting anything on you. You're pursuing that. It's up to you to let that go and leave that alone. It's up to you to know that it has run its course. So that's how I feel about that type of dysfunctional, toxic relationship and soulmates. So I would say to all of you, good luck. I wish you the best of luck. I wish you to reap bountifully and bring in a mighty harvest of gratitude, gratefulness, love, and joy. And in the meantime, in between time, be blessed. I'm Danny Daniels. Have a great day.